bring to life Ahsoka and you bring her from their teen years to be a woman that we see nowadays. So how much was challenging and how did you channel her frustration and her disillusion about the Jedi and his master and, everything else?
It's a great question. I think that, you know, her life is really shaped by Anakin. And in her youth, they're such a great team. I always think that, maybe no one believed in Anakin more than she did. I think it's very hard for her to believe that Anakin ever became an evil person. And she confronts that reality in Rebels. But I never show the outcome of that. And how does she deal with it then? And so I think while this is a fantasy, you have to look at real life situations and how do people deal with trauma, especially around somebody that they thought they knew well, that turns out not to be the person they thought they were. And what does that make them think and feel? And not just about that person, but about themselves. So I think those are real issues that people face. And when you can put drama to it of that, design, I think that it helps inform the story in a great way. So there's a lot of conflict and inner turmoil for Ahsoka that maybe people haven't seen as she's gotten older. And that's just true, like as I've gotten older, I see some of that in myself and how I've, when you're older, you're more afraid of things. When you're young, you're so carefree. When you're young, you climb the tree and don't think about it. When you're old, you're like, get down from there. So, we'll see. But a lot of what pulls you out of it, as always, is friends or family, things that help define you, people that change you, strengthen you. And so those are core to Star Wars stories, family and friends.
I mean, I feel like I got to really do that in this show. I think in Mandalorian and Boba Fett, you get to see someone really cool, calm, and collected, really capable. You get to see her prowess. You get to see her skills. You get to see, obviously, she's in a much wiser kind of space in her life than she maybe was when she was, a teenager and a little bit more impulsive and hot-headed and reckless a little, But, she's always been fearless. She's always leaned in. She's never hesitated. She's always been vigilant. And what's really nice, though, is that she is complex. Like, even as capable as she is, she's gone through a lot. And for the fans who have been on that journey with her, they know that. And we didn't really get to touch on it in Mando and Boba Fett. And we get to explore that here. And that's what makes me really excited. As we get that continuation from Rebels, absolutely, with this story and this greater arc and theme. But I really love that we get to explore Ahsoka as a being and Togruta, woman or being, yeah. And I loved that. It was rich. It would be boring if she didn't have all those nuances. So.
And I think old fans, myself for sure, are really curious to know if that glimpse of what Anakin teach her will show up in this one and how she will react to that, It's like, damn it. Or
Great question. That would make a great moment. Will that show up? Boy, that would be interesting. I don't know how that would happen. We will see. We will see. It's part of the fun of watching the show. And what I like is that I'm always, I don't know if the word's impressed, but I always say when you're telling a story, especially with our fans, it's not a surprise to me that they understand where it's going, because that means you're telling the story well and they understand the characters. And you want people to understand your characters. Yes, there will be surprises. There was a lot of things in the trailer that we've shown, but people don't have context for it yet. But as more things come out and things are revealed, things will start to fall into place and more people will understand it. So, it's amazing what they figure out. And it's just part of how great Star Wars fans are and how solid the galaxy of Star Wars is, that it contains all these stories and understandings. So you asked very good questions. I've given a very broad answer. So there were answers in there, but you're going to have to go back and watch it and find them. And maybe there are no answers at all. I don't know.
Wow,
maybe or just a really good Jedi. I don't know, but thank you. It's good to see
We
you.
got to see that in the story of the Jedi, like just his level of commitment to her and how grueling and intense he was with her, you know, and like this was not an easy relationship that they had. It was fraught. And you knew that that was his way of expressing love. And because of that, that's the reason why she was able to survive Order 66. And so I think that kind of, that intensity is a big part of who she was. And I think maybe that's one of the reasons why training with Ming felt so important to me. That's 2 hours a day, 7 days a week was like, it felt like what that must have been like to be again, do it again, do it again. You know, like it's relentless. And that's how you become an expert. So I loved being able to take that on, even for a fraction, to have that same experience with Ahsoka.
You know, when I think about this character, I draw a lot from my daughters. I have 2 daughters that grew up with this show. And so Ahsoka is their favorite character. And I think that what they love about her is that she's her own person. She isn't just deciding to be a Jedi like every other Jedi. She's not deciding to be a Sith. She's somewhere in between, and her training from Anakin has given her a point of view that isn't necessarily what the point of view that she wants to adopt. So I think she's a wonderfully complex character, and they like that.